What's up, dudes? This episode of Speaks of Hydeland is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our supreme and master speakers: Omeji Cat Comet, Edisu Kawabunga, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Aurora Temple Turn, Psyche, Azuda Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimm's Daughter, Lily Black, Bob Sheezy, Mick Toe Rabbin Toe, Anathis Moonscar, Pamela Islay, Elenriel Maximus, Code Red Novelist, Miri Miri, Celestone Waterell, Lazy Boy, Luke Osborne, Pantlu Storm Arrow, Tex, Kylin, Arthur Law, Biridan Derard, Cypup, Spencer Christmas, Celine DeLune, Edwin, Webster Wolf, Severa, Zerky Barakil, Kazran, Ventos Tia, Riok Forbe, Lane the House, Tony, Arcadia Lunashine, Framboise Ecuador, Burgie, Fidouche, Zephiel, Caf 3, Gregorium Cardus. Get early access to audio and video versions of the show, including the post-show, by supporting us at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Hydeland. Good evening, Aorsians. Welcome to Speakers of Hydeland, episode 420. I'm Likil Brayston, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Mela Vanadar, and Rollo Des. Hello.
Yo.
It is September the 21st.
Oh. Nice.
Okay.
You can see the ship. You're not supposed to see the ship.
You're not supposed. Oh boy. I don't know
what's happening here.
Let's up. Oh,
that's interesting.
It's 420. It's 420.
Why are you so pink, dude? What happened?
Sorry.
He's green.
Oh shit!
He turns purple when he's green.
I'm turning purple.
I'm an eggplant.
Oh my god.
Violet.
Oh, shit. Shit. I forgot to set the white balance.
There you go.
Here we go. What? You thought I had an acute allergic reaction?
I got so concerned for a second.
This is a common. They do this. I think I know who did this. You change the color to green if I haven't set the white balance. I turn purple. It's just what happens on this camera. So
sickly, choking purple.
Yes. Okay.
His Shatsky was blocked.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Anyways, welcome. What a start to episode 420, eh? Audio listeners must have actually gotten terrified when I started.
Yeah.
He was choking on stream. We kept that in.
Yeah.
Yes. It is, like I said, September 21st, 2024. It is the calm before the storm, so to speak, because not a lot has happened. In fact, I'd say nothing has happened the last week. So we are going to dedicate this episode to MogMail. So that's this show. That's the show. So that's that. So you can send in more. speakersxiv.com/mogmail. Send us more, because now we're gonna really dig into the mailbag. So we're gonna need to refill it. So please do. Stay tuned for the post show. We'll be answering questions from the syndicate. We have quite a few questions this week, as well as not finishing, but we're gonna do another chapter of Near, far, wherever you are, and we have come to the night of the sinking. So, you know, very
surprising,
exciting.
Considering this fan fiction is almost 20 chapters long.
Yeah.
And this is the 5th.
Maybe it's a long
voices
sinking.
again. This is too hard, man.
Yeah, and there are the gallery is bigger than ever this chapter. So yeah, look forward to that. Okay. Now we have to make a couple of announcements. Actually, there's one that I haven't put in the show notes. So Retrovision finished last week. For Master and Supreme, the VOD will be up probably tomorrow. It takes like 2 days for Google Drive to like process a video. So
It is a 3-hour-long video.
yes, that is true. So it will be up Monday at the latest, but I would hope it would be up by Sunday. Also, next week, the episode will be on Sunday because the live letter is on Sunday morning. So we want to get that into the show. So we are doing a Sunday episode instead of a Saturday episode. So keep that in mind as well. So no episode on Saturday. Also, this is very much early. We haven't really very early stages of planning for this, but we are planning a All Saints Wake cosplay contest in game on Friday the 4th of October. So in our FC house. So if you want to join in on that, you can prepare. Get your cosplay together. The theme is Halloween or All Saints Wake, however you want to interpret that. That's on the 4th of October. That will be stream time-ish. So that's 8 p.m. Central European Time, 7 p.m. British BST. Okay. Are we on BST still?
Yeah, it's the end of October. We switch back.
Okay. Oh god, that nightmare begins again.
More times. Oh,
yeah.
When will it end?
Yeah, never.
Never.
Apparently never. They keep saying it will, but I don't believe it anymore. Okay, so that's that. That's something to look forward to. And of course, I mean, it goes without saying, but starting October, we also have, the whole month will be Spooktober. So only spooky games for a whole month. So look forward to that as well. Okay, we don't have much to talk about in this next segment, but we will talk about something. It's time for recent events. Yes. So, recent events. There is one recent event. There is a... we don't even have a slide for it, in fact. There is a... we have recovery from network technical difficulties caused by DDoS attacks. We have DDoS attacks again. They're happening, and they're happening very frequently now. Again. I told Yoshi P this, and I know he's watching, that he should not have said what he said that one time before the launch of Dawntrail. Like, oh yeah, we got this under lock. They will never be able to do it again.
We have an unsinkable DDoS prevention system.
Yeah. God himself cannot DDoS this ship, he said. And, well, here we are. And it is happening. All over the place.
What were you thinking, Yoshi P?
This is hitting all 3 data centers. So this was on September 18th.
Excuse me?
Regions.
Sorry, all 3 regions.
Still, excuse me?
All 3 regions that
all
matter.
3 regions that matter. All 3 regions that matter.
That's better.
Players may have experienced the following issues. Disconnections from Japanese, North American, and European data center worlds. Difficulty logging in to Japanese, North American, and European data center worlds. And difficulty accessing, sending, and receiving data from the Japanese, North American, and European data centers.
To be perfectly honest, Georgi, it wouldn't surprise me if there are lots of DDoS attacks happening in Materia, but they just forgot that it exists.
They're like Materia. Is that a... What is that? Is that a...
They do not remember you.
No.
Which is a shame.
I mean, this is just... I think DDoS attacks is just something we're just
It's
going to have to live with.
the norm online now.
Yeah.
There's no way of preventing them.
It kind of comes in like seasons. It's like, it's like the flu, Like it just happens sometimes around the year, and you do what you can.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just how it is. It's annoying. But that's it. That's all you can do. You just keep calm and carry on, as they say. So, or not. You just have to take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. No word on.
Try something else.
Has this felt more often than previous expansions? Because it feels like it's been more consistent than previously, to me at least.
It does also feel like that to me, but I don't know if I'm just misremembering.
Yeah, it's hard because no one really written down either, aside from just some official notices. I think this feels like the most it's been kind of back to back.
That's
or grouped together in general.
There was a lot around the time when a lot of the WoW stars came over there. There was a lot of issues around then.
Yeah.
Where people were upset.
Was there not a lot near the end of Endwalker as well? I feel like there was a lot of right before Dawntrail.
But like a part of me feels like this is still a continuation of that particular series of DDoSes. Because it seems it's from the end of Endwalker to the start of Dawntrail. It doesn't feel like there's a significant jump in time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Final Fantasy 16 is now out on Steam, guys, so if you need a break.
That's true.
And you download PS5, you can play Final Fantasy 16.
You can play Final Fantasy 16 on PC and get all the mods that makes the game naughty.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I
don't know if those are out yet.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming, and so will you soon.
What most people have done is extracted the models.
Yeah. They're working fast.
Yeah, they're working fast.
They are. They're putting their best people forward.
Yeah, they sure are.
Hot men on the situation.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That is that's all we have on the latest news from 14. So let's move on. It's time for the beefy MogMail section. Let's see how much we can get through. Let's just let's dive in. It's time for MogMail. This is from a Sony Mark from Genova. Hello. One of the MogMails from the previous episode got me thinking about the hooks from Dawntrail and where they could lead. And then also a completely crackpot theory. First, the more serious idea. Sorry, I had to just parse for a second if you had read this before. The obvious one is the cup. And I feel that is going to play some part like Azem's crystal and will be showing up in pretty much every story. I'm assuming we're talking about the key. That's the cup.
I would assume so.
That was an hourglass. That's what we called it.
It looks a little bit like a cup.
Yeah, I can see that.
This MogMail mentions the previous episode. I'm going to guess it's not actually the previous episode.
No, absolutely not.
A previous episode.
Yeah, the other hook that interested me was preservation. They just gave me the feeling that they were more than just a random group of Alexandrian scientists. Unless I am misremembering, they show up and want to create endless, and then I thought it was said somewhere that most of them then disappear. So they are someone I would like to see again. Now for my complete crackpot theory about the rest of the game. So it seems that the places that Emmett Selk had listed off have connections to other shards, and we have a cup linked to Azem that also deals with traveling to other shards. So my theory is that why Azem wasn't in on Vinas's plan was that they thought that sundering the world could cause problems. Maybe it is attracting the attention of some kind of eldritch horror or something like that. Could be something they discovered in their travels. So Azem was trying to come up with a solution to sundering that wouldn't also bring Zodiark back or destroy all the other shards. And that is what we are going to be doing over the rest of the expansion, is discovering and implementing this plan before something dire happens. Ooh,
Does it not seem likely that preservation were Ascians ushering in a calamity?
Well, I don't know if I would say all of them, but there might have been a key Ascian involved in its
if they just
in the
disappeared afterwards.
Yeah, I can see that. That's something they would do. Do you like the idea that there's something? Yeah, go on, Gary, finish.
I was just going to say, is that the actual lore with preservation? I don't my memory is failing me on this, but I don't remember exactly what ultimately happened to preservation in the story of the.
They were the ones who were coming up with Otis's body and everything, and like the medical advisors, weren't they?
I know what they did, but I don't remember if we ever discussed their downfall or their disappearance.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember.
I thought is preservation not still just involved in like what's the second last dungeon of the expansion called again?
I know, yeah, I can't remember, but I think they are still there in some capacity. I don't think they're like
Yeah.
I thought that they'd been absorbed into the Alexandrian government.
It felt that way.
That is interesting if true, though,
know.
because we haven't seen any representatives of the government yet. So that could be interesting.
Well, we've seen
civil
Google
servants,
Jar.
thank you.
Right,
Well, also
right.
true, yeah.
Where's the DMV?
the dungeon I was thinking of is called Origenics, by the way.
That's
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think preservation will probably. That's another thing that can be picked up in story patches if they want.
I guess I'd
If
be
they
kind of
choose-
pissed off if you turned off my experiment or something. I was working
I mean,
on that, man.
If there are no people that are tied to it, significantly at this point, I could still see it being like a variant dungeon in some way that lets us dive into its history. If they don't want to attach it to the MSQ anymore,
Right. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The crackpot theory that there's something dark and horrifying lurking in space.
So. I love an eldritch old god.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get more of that with the what were they called? The beasts at the end times, whatever they were called. Not the ones that we saw in Endwalker, but the ones from Shadowbringers. The ones the Ascians actually fought.
Terminus beasts?
Oh,
Yeah,
the
the
terminus.
Terminus
Yeah.
beasts. I thought that was going to be more of a plot point of like an eldritch,
And they're
ultra god
eldritch
kind of
like.
thing.
Yeah, they are.
They are eldritch like, but then they
I
kind of
feel
just disappeared. I don't know. Maybe they still exist somehow.
I feel like they already kind of did that, like their spin on it, with the Medion thing and all the what are they called? The other beasts that we got on our end during the Calamity, or not the Calamity,
The cardinal sins and stuff.
no,
the new ones. The
Shadowbringers.
yeah,
the
blasphemy.
blasphemies. That's it.
Yes.
I kept wanting to call. I kept thinking abominations, but I'm like, that's not.
Yeah, it's the same plot point, two expansions in a row. It's easy to mix them up.
Yeah.
I think that's just going to be their take on it. Otherwise, I think it'd be just a little bit too direct for their taste, I would think. Because I think the closest they've ever gotten to just being like an Eldritch type or, inspired thing in general would be the Mind Flayers. And even then, that was pretty filtered through a Final Fantasy lens.
Yeah.
That's true. The reason I like old god Eldritch sort of stuff and wouldn't mind it in this is because it adds an extra separation layer of things we know and don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything being ancient became old quickly.
Yeah.
Even
Like everything being,
ancients.
But that is
that's
just adding more ancients into the pot, though, because that is what the Eldritch creatures are.
Yeah,
Just-
but at least it's something to speculate on. And if we never... Because Ultima the High Seraph is an alien being that appeared during the ancient world times.
Mm-hmm.
And the Heart of Sabik was Auracite that it came with,
Yeah.
that the ancients toyed with. There's definitely something additional. There's additional layers. That
You're
we
right.
don't know about
There
the
is stuff that is in the background that hints at something bigger behind. Yeah, I agree.
which I like.
Yeah.
Is Sabik tied directly to Ultima? I thought that the idea was just that Ultima created Auracite and Sabik is also Auracite, but not necessarily from Ultima itself.
That's true. It may be an additional thing as well. I'm not too sure because she ended up in an Evilisian alliance, right?
Yeah, true.
That was defeated by level 70s.
Yeah,
Yes.
which was all
That
a bit
was
odd.
peak back then, all right? We were
That's
just-
But I
yeah.
expect to hear more about Ultima and Sabik as we go.
Yeah, there is seemingly an entire race of Ultima's people.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's interesting. And then obviously, if this is the heart of Sabik, is this some just mega creature? What is Sabik?
Yeah. What is Sabik? Well, what
we
is
still
Sabik?
don't know why it's called that.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the heart of maybe Sabik could be a planet or a place, and this is the power source.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be that Sabik is a creature.
Maybe it's like a Nidhogg's eye thing,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It could be.
Tons of energy or something.
Yeah.
Imagine if Sabik is the planet itself that Ultima's race comes from.
Yeah.
And then they consider it a mineral, but it's more than that to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Could be
And
very
Sabika's
interesting.
alive. It's a living planet.
Ooh. See, that's kind
say-
of eldritch in a way. That
I like that.
That's
I
what I,
don't know
was
if I-
thinking along the lines of.
I don't know if I really like the part of like Azem having their kind of own contradictory plan to Highland and everything. I think that kind of runs counter to what the story they're trying to tell, and in Endwalker. And then also, I think it might be pushing a little bit too much into really, really defining Azem.
Yeah.
which
That's
I don't
true.
think they wanna
I
do
do think
current.
they want to.
True.
Yeah, I do think they want to avoid defining Azem, which I don't want, which is contradictory to what I want. I want them to characterize Azem more as their own person. But I wouldn't be. I mean, we know that Azem didn't agree with either Heidelin or the Convocation, or Vanar or the Convocation. So they, in all likelihood, did have some plan, which might be tied to the key, which we talked about last week, but we don't
I would be
necessarily know what
intrigued.
that is yet.
Yeah.
Whatever if there is a third plan, that's an interesting plot point
Yeah. That's yeah.
Because I can't.
to what it could be.
I don't imagine Azem just like wandered off. Like, I don't like either of your plans, and then just like accepted that they would be sundered with no intentions around that.
That's kind of a frustrating end to your character's predecessor. I am with you, Georgi, though. I do wish they would define them a bit more personally. I am fine with the Zem being their own separate character, considering how different a lot of like shards are, or like shards of people. So I was like, just go for it.
Yeah.
I believe what they've said in the past so far about Azem's plan is whatever you imagine you would have done during the Sundering, which I think is a very unsatisfying
I
mindset.
Yeah.
I think the last time we had this, I was talking about the idea of that Azem's secret plan was to try and merge their souls. That's why we went to the first and merged with Arbor. Why we found this key. Like, if the whole plan was to reform themselves, I think that would be an interesting plot. And then maybe we have to go against like the moral implications of that.
I would be. That's interesting, but I would be surprised if they tie that to Azem, because I don't think they would want Azem being tied to something that is morally questionable.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get over the just like, this is your self-insert character. I think that was such an important character.
Challenge us at least a little bit. If you want to make a Zem like a little morally gray or something, not evil, but maybe like
Yeah.
a weirder plan that's maybe not something you would agree with. That's a good conflict, I think.
It's strange because they've made Azem this like super important character in the story, but they've made them us, and they're like, no, we can't give them too much personality. It's like, why did you do it then? Like, why did
But
you?
it's not us. It is.
Yeah, right. I agree. This is us from a
cards
different
are-
time. Like, we're just
It's not us, but it is us. And insofar as they also gendered the storylines as to what your Warrior of Light would be.
Yeah.
Even
Yes.
though we know that the ancient versions of us don't have to be the same gender as their sundered shards.
Yeah.
So it was irrelevant anyway.
Yeah.
Like, even just looking at Ardbear, like, that's not us.
Mm-hmm.
No,
That's
he's
not
like the
ours.
default guild seller. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
that's really cool that he's his own character, and it really
It's better that way.
Yeah.
So I would wish they would do that with Azem. Yeah, that'd be a good way to tell like another story, kind of either dealing with your past self in a way that maybe wasn't something you agreed with entirely, or I don't know, whatever they want. There's stuff there, I think.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. There's thank you, Sony. We'll move on to the next MogMail. This is from Tristan Lightwell from Brynhilder. Hi, speakers. How is no one talking about the fact that the Otis we meet in Heritage Found is a reskinned Mamulja? It makes me laugh every time I see it. Also, why is no one remembering that there's a gigantic Electrope mine in Heritage Found? It's next to the old Alexandria area. Isn't it supposed to be rare? And does that technically mean it's now on the source? Thanks. Always love the content. Tristan Lightwell. Well. Yeah, I was going to mention it last time. We were talking about Electrope. I don't remember why, but like there is an Electrope mine in the Alexandria section of Heritage Found.
It's not that it existed there previously, is it? It's when they merged.
It
they
came
kind of,
with
it
them.
came with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also that might a massive mine might be what's necessary to even fuel something like Solution 9, because like ostensibly Solution 9 is entirely crafted from Electrope. So a single mine is not going to be enough to help any other city, seemingly.
No.
Also, we don't really know how to work it. Maybe we don't even know how to mine it.
It would
It's
take
meant to be super hard.
would take years to
Well,
learn.
I don't. Well, does it take years to learn? Because
I don't
like
know. So-
I mean,
so
we
it's
are-
mysterious
Yeah.
material.
what's the final boss of what's it called? The Arcadian first tier called? Because she's a master of Electrope and she's like 20 or younger at this point.
Thunder.
She grew up with it though,
Wild,
in that kind of world in general.
Yeah.
Yeah,
isn't-
I know, but like if you're able to like
Like,
learn it wouldn't take that long then.
I suppose so.
How long is the
It's
time
difficult to know.
difference between
30
heritage?
years.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 years is a long time.
Yeah.
If she grew up,
bearing
with
in
it.
mind
also-
that since her realm
but, like-
reborn, about like 7 weeks has passed in game.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
I don't want
like-
to talk about the timeline. I don't want to talk about that.
But also, there are people in Heritage Found that still have ties to Tuliolal at the very least, that might want to share this technology with their former city-state.
Yeah.
difficult
Maybe a
one.
bit of conflict.
Well, it
But-
does mean though that there is Electrope on the source. I mean, that is undeniable.
That's
with that mine.
undeniable.
What's gonna happen to it? Who knows? We'll see. That might be again another thing that I think that's another thread out there. Like, there's Electrope on the source now. What are we gonna do about it? Is it all
Yeah.
for Solution 9 or?
And also, depending on how extensive the Electrope is, or how extensive the ninth still is when you go through the portal to living memory, there might be a lot of it that is
Yes.
available to us.
Yes.
I mean, that's true. We could mine that entire world.
Let's just thank God that Garlemald has collapsed, because if that fell
That's
in the hands of
true.
Garlemald, it would be over. Also, Otis being a reskin Mamulja.
To be honest, I
I
never
love it.
noticed these things.
I didn't
luckily,
notice
so
it,
it never
but-
ruins it for me.
I did notice it. I thought it was a nice, cute coincidence.
Some of them I can catch, but I really love like a good asset reuse like that. It's very
Yeah.
it's I mean, if you don't know, but by looking at it, it's a really creative way
Yeah.
of
Yeah, exactly.
making your work easier.
Yeah.
And adding like a little bit of charm. You'd be like, oh yeah, this is a video game. And, like,
Yeah.
do something sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. We'll see what happens with the Electrope, if that is something that they pick up and discuss. Because this feels like it's like they found oil. There's oil in Heritage Found. Like, what
Oh,
are the other, you know? I mean, it's not necessarily a good
Yeah.
thing.
My main worry is that I don't know if they'll necessarily get tied to the MSQ. I hope it will, but the fact that it's so tied to the 8-man raid series makes me worry that they'll resolve it exclusively through that.
Yeah.
That's true. It's a difficult one. I thought we were going to get lots of interesting storyline about the conflict between the Blue Mage Wallachie tribe and like Cerulean that was found in the New
That's
World.
more so in the crafting quest or the one crafting quest.
Yeah, but it's like now we've got something like, who cares about Cerulean? We've got
Electrope, baby.
Electrope, which just can do like anything. It's
Yeah.
the greatest rock of all time.
So you'll see like those communities with the cerulean fields just collapse because everyone's just over
yeah,
it.
Cerulean was out. Next time you get to
No,
Limsa, it's just like a neon city with full of Electrope.
Yeah. Okay.
Merlweb's got like an Electrope visor.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's like decked out in the Solution 9 gear.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you, Tristan. Moving right along to, I think, this one from Larson Trecerus? Tresius from Lamia. So someone reminded me that the encore story from Tales from the Dawn talks about a crystal that Hythlodius found. Azem was talking to him about a concept to help ease the burden of travel that was inside this crystal. I think most at first thought this was the orange Azem crystal that we are in possession of now, but after seeing the events of Dawntrail and an ancient-style crystal inside of a chalice key appearing that also bears the mark of Azem. Oh, sorry, of a chalice key appearing. Huh?
That's fine. You were
Okay,
right.
sorry. That also bears the mark of Azem. I believe this is that crystal that Azem was requesting help from Hythlodius to help with Azem's travel. I don't think it was a coincidence that they snuck the mention of this crystal in the short story, and then a key that has Azem's symbol with it appears in Dawntrail. So it's safe to say that this crystal ended up being lost after the Sundering, and that a certain group of Lalafell in Aloalo Island did find it and used it to get to Alexandria's shard during the Fifth Calamity. Well, I don't think we're going to get more info on the key until the patches or the next encyclopedia. I do think this crystal in the key is looking to be that concept Azem was working on. Do you guys think I'm on the right track here? Thank you guys for keeping it mostly sane these post-Dawntrail times, Larson. Okay.
We're trying.
Well, we're trying.
I think that's
Good shout.
a great theory. Yeah, I think
it's
that's
a
very,
fantastic
very
theory.
possible.
Yes.
Nice scholarship.
Yeah, that lines up in my mind.
The whole key thing's interesting because we've talked about it last time that it has like this Electrope chalice bottom to it, which we think was probably added on later. Then there's the crystal inside, but it's like in a glass box. And then it has Azem's glowy floaty bit on top.
Yeah.
The electrope around it might have been what makes it more manipulatable for people that aren't ancients, because obviously when you're an ancient, you have significantly more power than just a regular person.
True.
It's very. I feel like just why weren't people more interested in this during the storyline? Why didn't you? Come on, you Stoller at all, guys.
I think they still
What
have
do you
time
mean?
to kind of work those stories in the patches.
They will do, yeah, but it's like
If they
an
want.
interesting device.
Remember when Stoller? Imagine if when Stoller went to destroy it, she actually succeeded.
Oh, that would be fun.
One of the last relics of Azem.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need this.
Yeah.
What do you think it's for? What is like if it is the one from that storyline?
Well, I think I think we talked about it last week, and I think one of the previous MogMails talked about this as well. That I think it's for shard travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty clear now.
But
with that
if it
shard
was from the
travel-
ancient times, there were no
shards.
That's true.
At the time.
That's a bit of an interesting.
Maybe they.
Unless
But
they
Azem knew,
somehow.
because they're still alive. They went back in time to invent it, and then are alive, merging shards. You will meet Azem, and you might be disappointed.
I don't think we'll ever meet them.
No. It could be part of the secret. You know, if there was this big extra plan of, you know, Azem knew there was going to be a sundering and knew that we would have to shard hop between worlds to, you know, rejoin or whatever, and created this in advance. You know?
Yeah, because does the Tale from the does that
Tales from the
extra
Dawn.
story? Tale from the Dawn. Does it take place after the events of Pandemonium? Because I feel like we knew that. I feel like it's known based on like Elidibus's how he behaves in that story, but I don't remember off the top of my head because I haven't read it recently. Because if it takes place after Pandemonium, then it's very possible that Vinar has already told Azem about what is going to happen.
That's true. That's possible. That leaves an in for that. Yeah, I guess that's a way to solve that. That they knew it was going to happen, and so they. I can see that. Yeah.
And is this a crystal of their creation / world, or is this in any way related to Warasight that has happened upon their world? Where's this power come from? Chat also brings up from the story when Azem went to the volcano.
Oh, yeah.
And they are right in that there's a volcano in the
Living Memory.
not Heritage Fan, the place, Living Memory.
Living Memory.
Yeah.
For the Milana place. Now that is interesting as well.
That is, that's true. We'll.
It's called something like Mount Azale as well, isn't it?
That sounds a little bit like Azem.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So maybe when Azem was going to the volcano, they were actually already doing some weird time travel. I don't really know what, but met the Lalafels or left that for where the Lalafels were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more time travel. Let's do it.
Okay.
I mean, they love it now, so they're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if the volcano, maybe that's where he left the crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they.
True.
And I mean, we know also that although Emet made it better, Amarot ruins were on the first.
Mm-hmm.
Not as nice as Emmet made them, but they were there. So there's there are fragments of the ancient world that made it through the Sundering into the different reflections. So why not that this volcano with this buried treasure did appear?
Yeah, I mean, the buildings somewhat could get around to the other shards, or be left
so
over somewhat.
can.
Yeah.
Why not that?
Okay, well there you go. That's something to think about.
Very intriguing.
Hmm. Okay, thank you, Larson. Next MogMail is coming up right now. I promise, it's coming. Here it is.
Any moment now.
This is from Exion Aureus from Zodiarc Light. Hi, speakers, or hey, speakers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the first expansion without Sid? We obviously don't know yet if he'll be involved in the Alliance raid or maybe even field operations story, but it doesn't look like it so far, and it's honestly kind of sad. It got me thinking about how he turned from a prominent MSQ character into someone who's barely even there now, and how often this fate is met by characters that become part of some side content. I get that devs want to prevent continuity errors, but we've had a couple of these already, most famously Urianger standing in the Waking Sands to hand out Titan for Garuda Extreme, while he accompanies you on the first during Shadowbringers, and it honestly feels like a shame to relegate characters to the sidelines when most people wouldn't even mind. I think. This is an MMO after all, and this kind of stuff happens. What do y'all think? Should they pay less attention to these things and bring back characters like Sid, Gaius, or Nero into prominent MSQ roles, or is the immersion and continuity worth losing these characters for any important MSQ events? Big fan of the podcast, my number one comfort show to listen to whenever I struggle to sleep. Much love from Zodiarc. P.S. Not sure if you're still keeping track, but I am in fact not bald.
Bald count still at 5.
Uh-huh.
One day we'll get to 10.
fan.
Yeah, hopefully you haven't fallen asleep yet while we're reading your MogMail.
Wake up.
Yeah,
wake up.
Nightmare.
Don't know what you're trying to say about it.
Yeah, well, soothing. Yeah.
Might be, I don't know where this stands on the heat scale, but an issue I think we all had in various degrees with this expansion was the Scion's involvement wasn't necessary at all stages.
Yeah,
sometimes felt forced.
Yeah.
And I think, I like that Sid is living his own life, and he knows we can call on him. And I like that these people are off doing their own thing and kind of
He's
existing.
got a business to run.
Exactly,
yeah, it's true.
He's got Jesse and Biggs and Wedge and that horrible woman with the sunglasses.
Oh,
But that's not always enough.
Yeah.
I don't want every time every character comes to the rescue to fulfill their role, and Sid comes on in his airship and Nero is like, haha, I'm here. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We already have enough characters that are here constantly.
They have to make sense in the story, I think, because otherwise, like you said, we're going to have that same situation with the Scions just being pushed in there just because they have to be in there,
Did Sid appear in the base Shadowbringers? I don't think he did. I feel like while we were working with the Ironworks, I feel like at most we saw Biggs and Wedge at the start of the story, and then at the end again. I don't know if Sid was involved directly in base Shadowbringers, and he didn't appear until maybe 5.4, but maybe I'm misremembering.
We went to Mordona, and that was on Tataru's airship, wasn't it? That was
the start of Azja.
The Bonanza. So no, I don't think we did.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, he was involved in Bosnia, but he doesn't appear in the
that's
MSQ until 5.4 as well. That's
which similarly could happen in this one.
Yeah,
he could appear in the.
He did have. I feel like he would have had a place in Dawntrail potentially, but
he still might have a place.
He might.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if he
plenty
comes
more
up at some
patches.
point.
Yeah.
Like, now that we're not in a crisis situation, we have time to contact Sid, because he might be interested. He probably will be interested in Electrope.
Oh, for
Well,
sure.
exactly.
Absolutely.
He could make mega airships.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do hope. I know you talked about it, Mela, but I do hope I would like those really smaller cast, I should say, in the upcoming. They probably can't do an upcoming patches because it's probably a little bit too late. But in the future, whether it's patches or expansions, smaller casts with the lesser known people. Like, I think
I
it'd be
agree.
cool if you were just hanging out with Sid for an expansion, along with
yeah.
a couple other supporting characters, and maybe one Scion if they really want to.
Hoary
Maybe.
Boulder.
Fully agree.
Hoary
Yeah,
Boulder.
Boulder.
Okay, Dream Team, Sid, Hoary Boulder, and a Moogle. Any Moogle.
A
Just
Moogle?
bring along-
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Google. Okay.
That's an interesting
Oh,
cast.
no.
Yeah.
Functionally, they can't have you traveling in parties of less than 4 anymore
Yeah.
because of how the
That's true.
duty support system works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could choose not to use it, but I would be surprised if they choose not to at this point.
Could BS some stuff they really wanted to. They'd be like, Sid made some automatons for you. They'll do.
Oh yeah,
that's
that would
true.
be simple.
Or you use your Azem crystal, but only like halfway this time. So you get like a couple people.
Yeah.
I
do
miss
think
the. Oh, sorry, go.
No, okay. I was just going to quickly say, I do think that characters aren't necessarily locked behind side stories if they think they have a very good story to tell with that character. Look at Graha.
Mhm.
So
I
I
agree
don't
with that.
think that just because Gaius is tied to Whirlet right now doesn't mean we'll never see Gaius again.
Right. Right.
I
But-
do miss you remember the Scions, the little Scions like Hori and everyone who went off on like reconnaissance missions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked those characters a lot because they felt like they were actually doing stuff.
We got
And it would
them.
be fun to go around with them.
They were fleshed out in Defenders of Eorzea, weren't they? Like that's when we like.
Yeah,
got to
they did a
see
bit,
them
yeah.
more. Yeah.
And then they've kept like they always appear like random. Like when every time we used to go back to the Rising Stones, there'd be like them there. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Actually-
like the best.
Don't give a Scion a new job next time. Give one of the weird jobbers. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoary Boulder should come back as like, I don't know, a musketeer. New job.
Yeah.
musketeer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine
There,
that?
there will also be. I mean, I know we talk about this a lot, but like, there's the plot armor on the Scions is they'll never.
It's a little.
There's
boring.
no risk involved in them anymore. We know they're never going to die, right? Throw in Hoary Boulder and some of the others, and we don't really know. You know, like things can get
Yeah.
hairy, and we'll actually be a little scared
Yeah,
because
hoary.
they don't have the plot armor. I think that the Scions have. Might
Has
help
there ever been a
spice things up.
Rogadin on the key art
Yeah.
A Rogadin on the key art.
Or no.
for an
not-
expansion?
For an expansion.
Gosetsu.
Gosetsu. Yeah.
That's true. Although he's
He-
kind of an unusual one, isn't he? Where they
he's-
don't really know where to.
He is a fiery
He's pure
Rogadin,
passing, I
Yeah.
would say almost,
He's
but
visually look.
Yeah.
if I may
Yeah,
say
that-
so.
At least that's one. But like, give me that Hoary Boulder on the key art.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
hope they try
I-
something like that sometime. Be fun.
yeah.
I've said this before. I was surprised after watching the story, playing through Dawntrail. I was surprised Kettenram wasn't on this key art. He's more
Oh,
important.
yeah,
Right.
than the
true,
other
and he has like
characters that are
Chad
on it.
face. Like he's
Yeah, and he would have been
Yes,
one of
old
the people who were
Chad face.
like questioning a lot.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
could have
It's
been a
not
good
like-
discussion.
It's not like they're afraid to put characters on the key art that we don't understand at the point of when we first see them. I mean, look at Sphene. We didn't
Exactly.
know who she was.
Spain.
That caused a lot of discussion. It would have been nice to have a few more on rather than just everyone we know.
Yeah, I know you said, Georgi, that it's not impossible to be added into like the story and as a side character if they regulate to some side content. But custom deliveries are forever. You
That's
are
true.
forever in custom deliveries jail.
True.
What was your favorite? What was
That's-
the character you liked, Romo?
Monago.
Monago. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're not wrong, Rollo, but Monago was involved in one of Tataru's Tataru's Grand Endeavor quest line.
That is
She's
what
not
it is.
true.
entirely locked away. It just means that there's no like she
She
can't,
can't
die.
leave Rolga's reach.
You'll never hear her voiced. You'll never
Yeah.
see her do anything of anything substantial. No, but
The only one who has a chance is Emiliance, and that's it.
yes,
Yes,
yeah.
that's true.
But even that she's going to be limited somewhat still. But yeah.
I was thinking when we did, remember when Endwalker finished and we had Newfound Adventure?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was expecting these low stakes adventures with Horrible, Real, and the small character.
They were never going to do it with a small character. The fact that we
so
went for
frustrating, though.
I was thinking we were going to get that with Estinian, I will say. And
Yeah.
it ended up being bigger than that.
Yeah, like at least, we were going on a map thing, and then suddenly we found a void gate immediately, and now we're basically having another massive plot arc immediately.
Yeah.
Blame him itself. Everything he told us to check out is a fucking well-done
It's a trap.
fucking problem.
Yeah.
Dude needs
true.
to chill.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go and
We
check
should-
out like the Bismarck and eat some cake?
Let's check out things that he didn't tell us about.
Yeah,
Because everything he told us about has is not fun.
exactly. And bring back the giant man in Tales.
Yes, they told us we were going to see him one day. I remember
When is that day, Yoshi P? When is that day?
I want to
This-
see Big Man, but I don't want to see him from the bottom. I don't want to do the
This-
Willem Dafoe. Like,
There's still so much of Ilsabard that is covered in clouds, Rollo. Don't worry. Maybe when we one day get to revisit anywhere else in Ilsabard other than Garlemald come 11.0.
Oh, 11.
just need the
Oh.
big, ancient, elegant fan to blow away all the winds.
Yeah. Oh, the
It would be
elegant
so
fan.
funny if we ever do meet him, he's actually part of just an overworld zone, and it's just his massive legs just in the middle.
Yeah.
But they move slightly.
Yeah, very slightly.
Yeah, I've said this. I think I've said this before, and I think Rollo liked it. Was that imagine if the big man is the zone that you just he is, you walk on him.
We walk
That would
on
be
Big
cool.
Man. We walk on Big Man.
It's
Just
like in
like-
Xenoblade Chronicles.
Instead of walking on Big Man, we magic school bus through Big Man. And we
War.
just are inside him.
No,
Yeah.
no. Listen,
Don't say you
has to
can't
be
say
6
that as if
zones. On the man. You got to pick 6 spots.
Okay.
The whole expansion.
Also-
Final Fantasy 11.0, the Man of Heidelin.
Oh,
Man Walker.
also, you can't act as if Vor is new in this game.
That's true.
Vor has existed in this game since 2.5 at the very earliest.
Thank God.
That's true. More
Actually,
Vor.
2.2. You can get Vored by fucking the Gourmand in the Lost City of Endapor.
Yeah, that was annoying when
Oh,
you had
yeah.
to solo that dungeon.
Have to be the only 14 streamers that talk about Vor this much.
For sure.
Like, it's a strange coincidence.
It's funny.
I think
It might be
I think-
fetish on here secretly, and they
No.
don't want to admit it.
Yeah, me. I love Vor.
yeah. Yeah.
Love Vor
I
so
think-
much. Yes, go
as
on,
long
Gary.
as World of Darkness is a common raid that people get in Alliance, Vor will be a common topic amongst 14 streamers, Rollo. I think you are underestimating others.
Yeah. I think this has been brought up many times in the 14 community that there is a lot
You
of
can't spell
a lot of being
Nuclear Gravestone
swallowed.
without Vor. So it's in there. As in V, it's in there, Luca.
It's
You can
okay.
see your name right there. You can work it out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Come up with
V-
come up with an anagram that includes Vor that's based on Nuclear's name. There you go. You got
There
it.
you go.
10 years, folks. We've been here for 10 years. Okay. Yes. Anyways.
I hope this has helped you sleep.
Oh yeah.
Sweet dreams, Exion. Moving on to the next MogMail. Here we go.
Oh, Georgie's old.
This is from Mr. Wolf's Head, from Goblin. Oh yeah, this one's way too long
Oh,
to
this
show.
one's
I am
massive. This is like
this
over a
one's-
page.
Yes.
I like that this MogMail has like a email header.
Yes. Azem.
You should- Can you please next time do Azem?
Oh yeah. Azem, a history of speculation and MMO endgames. Hey speakers, long letter incoming. Hope this finds you all decent.
Okay.
It does find
Not great.
us all
Just
decent. Given the events and items of Dawntrail, I'd like to request a discussion on the perennial theory that our Warrior of Light literally is Azem. Not a sundered splinter, but the actual Azem.
Oh.
Okay.
So don't worry, there's a whole page of stuff to back this up. The theory goes that our character is the Azem referred to in the stories about grapes, due to our Warrior of Light traveling back in time again. This is why, according to the theory, that Azem uses the same pronouns as our Warrior of Light. We are them. To make this work, because we start with a sundered soul, our character would over the next few adventures absorb more shards of Azem, similar to what happened with Ardbert. We might not need to collect all 14, but definitely a couple more are added to power us up through various means. We already got a Golbez shard, that's likely a chunk of us, and maybe Sphene, depending on how her story goes. After powering up, we go back in time to meet all our ancient friends and enemies for the first time in a future MSQ. Back in time on the Unsundered world, Vana meets us at a campfire, per the Oshan origin story, and she passes on her mantle to us, making our weird outsider Warrior of Light the new Azem. When we then go on adventures eating grapes and doing the MSQ leading up to the Ancients' final days. Likely time hopping to condense the narrative. We probably even fight a fully formed Elidibus/Zodiarch at some point, which is why he was held back in Endwalker, but continues to be seeded as a character. This would give us a proper Zodiarch fight. I know this theory isn't to everyone's liking. Some folk might prefer Azem as a separate character from their own, but I'm kind of excited that we might get to go on these adventures ourselves and have a final chance at giving Emmet a migraine. In this theory, the MSQ could end in a couple of ways. If Azem's MSQ is the final expansion, then we might end the MSQ being sundered, doing something heroic no doubt, and our Warrior of Light loops back to the start of their story, having completed a closed time loop, possibly waking up in a cart with the twins. Or, if our Warrior of Light somehow escapes the sundering, our memories might be transported from the ancient past via crystal and placed into some appropriate body/vessel in the future, back with our Scion friends, allowing us to have our Azem cake and eat it too. And perhaps that mysterious crystal, possibly with our Warrior of Light already downloaded into it, is already in our possession, and thus, it's still trying to help out folks in need. I hope there's plenty to discuss regarding this theory, but I'd appreciate a sort of broad overview of the history of this theory. I imagine you've discussed it before. When did people start thinking the MSQ might point toward this as a possible endgame? Did the time travel theory start with Sid's goggles? Warning. Warning. I've also got a counter theory to this theory that is so cursed I'm hesitant to send it, because putting it out in the world might make it real. But more on that later. Hint, another SM candidate might be closer than we think. Thanks for all the laughs and lore, Mr. Wolf said. P.S. Would you believe there's actually a similar theory to this Azem business in Elder Scrolls Online? It also involves the player character's endgame, ancient god beings, crystals, divided souls, and time travel. Wacky.
I did hear that about
the MMO that's borrowing from us.
I did hear that about ESO, that your character is supposed to be like some legendary
Daedric
thing.
Prince.
Something like that. I don't know.
That sounds cool. I mean, to be fair, the theory that you want us to discuss, you have also laid out in its entirety. And I don't hate it.
No. I think it's okay. Like you said,
if
not
this
everyone's
is the
going to
way
like
they
this
want
theory.
to go, if this is the way they are going to go, and we really are collecting, ourselves to reform and do some, this is a decent.
I mean, my main issue is that this is a bootstrap paradox.
Yeah, it would be.
We have no origin point.
Yeah.
No, that's true, but maybe we don't need.
And with the laws of time travel, this could potentially be disastrous if it happens.
Once
We have
the game's
different
over,
laws
they
of time
don't.
travel. We have different types of laws.
Yeah. I guess we don't know what that would do here, but I don't know. I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know what else. You've essentially given us the whole theory. I don't know what else we can really discuss. But
I do like the part about the character just being Azem.
I don't mind that.
That would be, I think, a decent way to deal with the Azem thing, especially with like the pronoun thing being the same as your character.
Yeah.
Because it again with Ardbear, a lot of stuff kind of falls apart about them wanting to keep Azem a certain way.
Yeah.
As in portraying nothing.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they are just kind of the same, like Eric Thonios and the other dude who's just Eric
They look the
Thonios.
same, yeah.
Again.
That's the trouble. Sometimes they look identical. Sometimes they've completely changed into like a woman.
Yeah.
Or a man or whatever it says. It doesn't seem to be very consistent. The thing I like about this theory is the neat little the final cutscene puts us back into the cart with the twins and whichever one of the three city states decided it, and then it's Finn. That's a lovely way of like wrapping it up if you had to.
I mean, I think that's
It was
very.
Yeah.
It's a very pleasant ending, but that's the part that annoys me the most because of how it bootstraps itself.
Well, that is true. It's a little annoying. Also, after that cutscene ends, we would then spawn in the world and do all of our endgame content.
Yeah.
No, we would start all over again because the end of the game and it's New Game Plus.
No.
For real this time.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
Not the fake New Game Plus.
What I would prefer is just a spin-off game where you play as Azem.
Yeah, maybe.
Crazy.
That's-
Not with how Square Enix run things now.
No.
Not in this.
No, I know.
No. Yeah, that's a theory that's out there now. Yeah.
They made 3 games in the Final Fantasy 13 series.
That's
I know.
That's true.
And it barely had enough lore to cover like
Okay.
half a game.
All
like
right.
it was, you know.
They were smoking the good shit on our
Yeah.
420 day. That's how they made all those games like that.
They made 3 games, and Final Fantasy 15 was originally intended to be another game in that series.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then when push came to shove, they released half a game, announced a massive series of DLC to cover the gaps in their story, then couldn't even deliver on that. So good
Well,
job,
no,
Square
the
Enix.
initial DLC did cover the gaps that they originally created.
It's all bullshit.
The second
I
set
can't
of
believe
DLC they were planning on releasing was to cover the gaps that they hadn't even accounted for.
Right.
That's such a 15 to 7.
I'll never forget the stream where they were going to announce all this new stuff.
Yeah.
And they just announced that they canceled everything. That was
It should have just
So
been like a letter.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like here's, a notice from the board or from Square Enix. This is what's happening.
yeah.
To stream an event? What?
Crazy.
I know.
Can't believe it happened. Yeah. Truly a very
damn
Square
it.
Enix way of doing it.
An alternative to a spin-off is something also very, very cursed, is if we Assassin's Creed ourselves into experiencing Azem's past.
That could be an
Epigenetic
okay way of doing it.
DNA. Yeah.
Yeah.
For an expansion.
Sure.
You know what? I could see them actually getting away with a 14 related story in the world if they didn't call it Final Fantasy. If they made it more like their recent AA games, which I don't really doing anymore, honestly, and they just gave it like a title,
I think they can call it Final Fantasy. There are AA titles in with the Final Fantasy
Yeah,
name.
look at Dirge of
but
Cerberus.
I think
Look
it'd be
at
more
Crystal
likely.
Chronicles.
Is what I think. I think it'd be more likely if they.
Look at
didn't
Theatre Rhythm,
Final
Final
Fantasy.
Fantasy. Look at World of Final.
Look at
Look
Tactics.
at Crisis
I think,
Core.
I don't think attaching Final Fantasy to the name is
No.
what's the problem for them.
Yeah. No. I don't know why we're here. Why we're talking about this for this MogMail. But
Also,
thank you.
now that you brought up Sid's goggles,
Oh God.
thank you. Just thank you for bringing that up, because that's still not explained.
Yeah.
It just.
It doesn't even fit into your theory either.
Please.
Why we did it doesn't
Stop bringing
make
up
sense.
Sid's goggles. It upsets
Sid's
me a lot
goggles
greatly.
don't fit into anyone's theory, Mela.
No.
It didn't make sense at the time.
No.
It doesn't make sense now. I don't even know what they were thinking. Why did they make it so Sid just saw us floating in the air next to his airship, and we gave him some goggles?
And then he goes like, "It was you." Like he just says something like that as if we're
It's-
supposed to know what this means. It's so strange.
If this is a long con, it better be worth it.
I would love to know what some of their plans actually were, or lack thereof, I guess,
Yeah.
for some of their Realm Reborn stuff before kind of really solidified. Because it seemed like they were thinking some weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has anyone ever asked Yoshi P or Koji about the Sid's goggles scene?
I'm pretty sure
like they have.
Koji was asked about Sid's goggles, and did he not say just don't worry about it.
Yeah,
or
don't
something
worry
like
about
that.
it.
He said that
I
a
think
lot
he
of
tried-
times.
He has said that a few times, and I think this
Yeah.
was one of those times when he said
I think
Okay.
he was trying to just say it didn't happen.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
It didn't
You-
happen.
You have to ask a certain dev. You cannot ask Yoshi
Yeah.
P because he will just say some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't ask Koji Fox
No.
because he's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Got a corner the guy who's doing the minions.
You no, you gotta ask My Hero. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you get something from My Hero.
Yeah.
No, you
Or
couldn't ask.
Oda.
Yeah. Oda might.
Oda,
Oda might.
Oda won't answer that because there are. I mean, people within the team themselves have asked Oda questions, and Oda refuses to answer.
Yeah, that's
them.
true. Oda's very, very strict.
He's your best shot though. If you're really charismatic, he might just answer you. That's
Yeah.
why we have to be the ones to interview him someday. We'll get that
100%.
answer about those cards.
Okay,
We'll
we're
bring
gonna
him a very fancy gift.
we're gonna get another MogMail in. So let's go. This one's interesting as well. This is from Verohan Tia.
Ruhan.
Hello, speakers. I don't know if this ever came up. It probably has. But with a new Rising event, I'm again reminded how strange it is that something like fireworks are still in use in Eorzea. After the 7th Umbral Calamity, where a giant dragon obliterated your home and family with giant burning rocks falling down from the sky. If I survived something like that, I would act worse than my dog every new year. This is so true. We've talked about stuff like this before. They do not care about PTSD in Eorzea. No fucking chill whatsoever.
They have a fucking prism that makes the symbol of the meteor.
Yeah.
I say
I
this
think it's about,
every
like,
year.
You know, they're overcoming
It's the meteor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like they're saying to the world, even though it was horrible, we're stronger than that, and we're, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Reclaimed
try
the
saying that to
meteor.
someone who
Yeah,
has.
they've reclaimed the destruction of the meteor.
Yeah, it's interesting. And also, let's just remind you, the first Rising event happened. I don't care. I mean, you can argue, oh, it's actually been 6 years or 7 years now. But when A Realm Reborn started, 5 years had passed. Only 5 years had passed. And they were shooting up fireworks like it was nobody's business, right? It was throughout summer and the Rising, right? It is kind of crazy to think
Can you
about.
imagine if we did that in real life? 2 to 4 weeks of solid fireworks.
Yeah, every night. Yeah.
Oh,
That
It's
would
definitely
be-
more of like
I'm,
for the player event kind
for
of thing,
sure.
you know?
yeah.
Because it just makes so little sense.
Yeah.
About
you
it
are
in
right,
game.
Mail. It is like 4 weeks because it's the Rising and Moonfire
Yeah.
Fair. Both
Yeah.
of them make use.
Yeah.
it's so nice.
Yeah.
I think what it is, Rollo, is just in Eorzea, they're not weak-willed people. They're just super strong. They
Yeah.
have the mental fortitude of,
Never heard
champion.
of PTSD.
Never.
they don't
You know,
know.
it's
Even
maybe
though
it's
Camp
like
Bronze
feel.
Lake exists, which
They-
is essentially a
Yeah.
hospital for that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like collective exposure therapy. Like, all right, guys, we gotta get over it.
Yeah.
All the city-state leaders have agreed we're gonna be launching fireworks every year for 4 weeks straight.
Yeah.
You guys will get over it eventually.
Your
Don't
whole
worry.
family tree
Yeah.
was obliterated. You're the only survivor. You have one leg, one eye, no arms. Listen, it's for the greater good. Send up those fireworks, folks.
You think? Do you really think? And the serfs in the medieval period were, they didn't go and work the fields, Rollo, because they were scared that the knights from the other village would
Right.
kill them.
What?
No, they
are
just
you-
got on with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Sure.
Uh,
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll say that I think the best part of in-game stuff for the Rising was it the painting, the Sultana 7? Was that what it's called?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really good way of kind of interpreting that
Mhm.
event in game to commemorate it, like having this big like painting of a story that actually happened with it. That's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks they don't really do that too often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the worst part is that the time bubble exists in a situation where we have yearly celebrations. They acknowledge years pass, and yet in game nothing happens.
Mhm. Yeah.
What an unsatisfying final MogMail based on the next one.
Oh yeah, sorry. The spoilers. They sent a second MogMail.
Yeah, but you have to wait a whole week. This is, you only get one a week.
Yeah, you'll get that next
Okay,
week.
Varuhan.
Yeah.
See you next week as well. That's a way of keeping
we'll
viewers.
see if we have. We'll see if we have time next week.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
'cause next
true.
week we'll
You
cover
have
it.
to
You
wait
might have to
2
wait 2
weeks
weeks
for Ruan.
for the
Yeah.
follow-up, everyone. So thank you for sending in MogMail. speakersSIV.com/MogMail. Remember, that's it. That's the show, actually. So thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. No,
Remember, that's it.
Get out of here,
That's it.
scram.
that's it. Get out of here. Next week will be airing on Sunday because of the live letter. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersXIV, !Discord. No, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, !Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. And if you're watching on demand, links in the description. If you're watching live, the post show is coming up. We'll be answering questions from the Syndicate. And yes, I know you've all been waiting for it. The next chapter of Near Far Wherever You Are, and we're making it to the sinking. It's the night of the sinking. It'll be epic, I promise. No, I don't promise, actually. I'm not promising anything with that. It'll be something. It'll be an experience. See you there. Bye.
Good job, Kay.